the consultant for the Pac-12 is a company called Octagon. You know what an octagon is, Jim?
Yeah, it's a shape.
Is it 6 sides or 8? I think it's 8.
1, 2, 3, 4.
No.
Wait.
Let me hear what you say. Hold on.
An octagon. So I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
It's 8. Because octagon is 8. So that's like from
like octopus, Jim.
Yeah, there you go. I like that. So Octagon's head consultant is William Mao. You know William Mao.
Of course I know William Mao.
So the Pac-12 does this deal. Now, remember, there's been skepticism over. Remember what happened last time with the Pac-12? They never got a media deal, right?
And it ended up destroying the Pac-12.
And that's how you end up with like Utah in the Big 12 and Oregon in the Big 10. We've already been through that story. So this time around, they had Washington State and Oregon State partner up with the Boise States and the San Diego States. You know the story, Gonzaga in basketball. But we're still waiting on a media deal. So this is the latest from the consultant for the Pac-12, William Mao.
Octagon is also a media rights advisor for the reconstituted Pac-12. A new media rights deal does seem close. What's the latest there?
We're deep in the process, having talked with the market since we were brought on in the late fall last year. We've been really excited about the market response and the demand and the interest for the new Pac-12. Right now, we're working through that's kind of the devil in the details a lot with each of the interested parties in terms of volume and quality and making sure all the puzzle pieces fit together. I often say in this process that we kind of have a double-edged sword situation with the Pac-12. And on the one hand, you don't have to be restricted by the idea of existing packages and reserved rights that you might have to kind of navigate in a traditional media rights deal with existing partners and such. You have a really blank slate, right? You get to be very creative and talk to anybody about any sort of formulation of a rights package. On the flip side, because you're not anchored around any existing packages to get from step 0 to step 1 and then step 1 to step 2 to really get going on these conversations, you're going to have to kind of bring ideas to the table, right? In terms of conversation, you're not kind of working around an existing construct. And so that has been kind of the nature of this conversation, where we're bringing folks in and we're having conversations more so from the perspective of not these are the rights, but what do you want? What can we do? How can we be creative? How can we stand out in a constantly evolving college landscape? Overall, very excited. We're deep in the process, and we're continuing to kind of talk to the market. That's kind of what I would characterize the situation as.
Deep in the process.
You just had a smirk on your face that I was like you just like it was Christmas morning.
Great. But here's the thing: what we didn't play there. So I then went and listened to the entire podcast. Of course I spent the 7 hours, right? And I consumed all of the audio. And after that, there was a follow-up. And the follow-up from the co-host of this podcast for the Sports Business Journal. I'm like the only subscriber. I'm kidding. If you like that stuff, it's interesting. But she followed up and said, what'd she say? Is there anything else you can divulge about it? Because people are curious. He's like, well, I think the commissioner basically said as much. There will be multiple partners. So it won't just be Apple TV. It won't just be Fox. Now, this is typical. Big Ten would have I don't know, who's the Big Ten work with? Fox and
Peacock.
NBC, thank you. Or Mountain West right now. We watch games on CBS Sports Network. Sometimes we watch games on Fox or FS1. Sometimes. So that's very typical. But they did confirm with William Mao, the consultant for Octagon, 8 sides, that there will be multiple partners. And he said they're deep in the process.
I like that. I think your excitement level for this is definitely warranted.
Is it?
Yes, because when you hear somebody say that they're deep in the process, and I know you were at an event over the weekend with San Diego State football, and JD Wicker even talked about that, and he was on with us as well and talked about it. This thing is going to actually happen. This is not going to be a year down the road, type of thing, right? This will happen this year. The media rights deal and the new media platform for the Pac-12 will happen this year, because next year there's going to be a new conference and they got to get something done. So they're going to get something done.
To your point, not only does that have to happen this year, they still need to add at least a team.
That as well, yeah.
And you have to add it a year out because that team has to notify its conference, and you can't do it inside a year. We've talked about the money, and here's the other thing. You know, there's this like back and forth between the Mountain West and the Pac-12. Like, hey, Pac-12, you owe us money for the Mountain West schools you quote unquote poached.
Right.
Well, it was also announced by Ross Dellinger within the last 24 hours that those two sides will go through a mediation process. So all that money the Mountain West was owed by the Pac-12, they're going to meet somewhere in the middle. Mm-hmm. So like Mountain West is going to get all this money because San Diego State's leaving and Boise State's leaving, and they're still going to get money. But the question remains, how much money will they get?
When I see stuff on X about the Pac-12 media rights deal,
don't send it to me. I've already seen it.
I know, but it's funny because when I see it, I immediately look at the timestamp. If it's like 3 hours ago,
yeah,
you've already seen it.
If it's 3 seconds, I maybe haven't seen it.
Right. So there was a tweet yesterday, I think by Ross Dellinger, and it was like he tweeted it out 10 minutes ago, and I was like, should I send it to John? No, because he's seen it. He's 100% seen it.
I just assume with certain things, like if the Padres signed Nick Pivetta, I mean, we send that to each other because like I was actually driving home that one night.
Yeah.
And you said, because it was 2 minutes after our show, and you're like, are you serious? They signed
If I see a tweet that is like just tweeted or a minute ago tweeted, then yes, I will 100% send it to you. Vice versa.
But if it's been 2.5 hours and you get to your computer and you see it, right, you assume I've already seen it.
Absolutely. Like I assume you've seen every single Pac-12 media rights thing on social media at all times.
I could basically be the consultant to the consultant.
Yes, you could,
I would do it for free.
Of
if
course
William
you
Matt
would.
was looking for help, I would do it for free. So stay tuned is what I would say. Stay tuned related to the Pac-12 and its media deal.